Let's just jump right in. We are looking at the future today, breaking down 8 marketing trends that are going to absolutely define 2026. And here's the thing, if you want to get ahead of the curve, you have to start thinking about this stuff right now. And we have to start here because, wow, this is a massive wake-up call. What this means is that almost 9 out of every 10 marketers are still using a playbook for a game that's already over. We're not talking about just falling a little bit behind here. We're talking about the risk of becoming totally irrelevant. The entire game is changing, and the time to adapt is right now. So what is this huge change all about? Well, it's a fundamental shift. For years, it's been about trying to trick algorithms, game the system. That era is coming to a close. The future, and you're going to see this in every single trend we talk about, is all about building real, genuine connections with actual human beings. Okay, so our first group of trends, it might sound like a total contradiction, right? AI-powered humanity. How can a robot make us more human? Well, it turns out that artificial intelligence, instead of making things more robotic, is actually unlocking a whole new level of personal human connection. It's fascinating. So inside this first cluster, we're going to break down 2 game-changing ideas, something called AI-powered micro-moments, and then the really cool field of emotional AI. Let's start with that first one. So you know that traditional customer journey, that long straight line we all learned about? Yeah, you can pretty much throw that out the window. It's becoming obsolete. AI can now predict with scary accuracy the exact moment a customer is thinking about buying. This means you can show up with the perfect message at the precise instant they need it, not just weeks before, hoping they follow some path you laid out for them. And check this out. This is the proof right here. In one case study, a company used AI to figure out when potential customers were browsing their competitor's website. And get this, within 60 seconds, it automatically sent them a personalized video message. The result? A mind-blowing 340% increase in conversions compared to their regular email campaign. That right there is the power of a micro-moment. Now for the second trend in this bucket, emotional AI. And this is where things get really, really personal. This tech can actually analyze the emotional tone in what your customers write or say. So just imagine sending a completely different message to someone whose last email sounded frustrated versus someone who sounded super excited. It gives us a way to have empathy and be responsive on a scale that was just never, ever possible before. All right, moving on to our second cluster. We're seeing how this whole idea of personal connection is evolving. This next batch of trends is all about a power shift from the brand to the community. It's no longer about a company just broadcasting at an audience. It's about building with an audience. So in this section, we're going to hit 3 connected ideas: the explosion of conversational commerce, the incredible power of what's called community-driven content, and why everyone's shifting to micro-influencer networks. First up, conversational commerce. People are just so tired of clicking through cold, impersonal websites and filling out forms. They want to buy things the same way they'd get a recommendation from a friend, through a conversation. There's this great example of a fitness coach who tripled her sales, not by using a fancy sales page, but by just talking to people in her DMs, asking about their goals, and then suggesting the right program. It feels like getting helpful advice, not like being sold to. Okay, this next one, it really needs a mental shift to pull off. The idea is to stop creating content for your audience and start creating it with them. The strategy is actually pretty simple. You just ask them about their biggest problems, their biggest challenges, and then you build your content directly from their stories, using their exact words. They literally become your co-creators. And the results are, well, they're just undeniable. The data shows that a single piece of content that's driven by the community gets 10 times more engagement than something the brand just cooked up on its own. And why is that? It's because it's deeply relevant, and it makes people feel like you're actually listening. This isn't just a feel-good thing, it drives real results. And finally in this cluster, let's talk influencers. The future is not about paying a giant celebrity a ton of money for one post. It's about building a whole network of micro-influencers. People with smaller, super engaged audiences who have earned an incredible amount of trust. When you build real relationships with them, you create this authentic support that a big paycheck just can't buy. Okay, for our last cluster, we're going to zoom out. We've talked about the tech with AI and the people with community, but now we're going to look at the new rules of the road. These are the big strategic shifts that everything else is built on top of. So here we'll cover 3 must-haves for the new rulebook: how to survive and thrive with privacy-first marketing, why you need sustainable marketing for the long game, and then the really advanced strategy of cross-platform storytelling. Look, with tracking cookies going away and new privacy laws popping up all the time, the old way of tracking people across the internet is basically over. The solution? Lean into it. You've got to shift to what's called zero-party data, which is just a fancy way of saying it's information customers give you because they want to. How do you do that? You create something valuable for them, like a fun quiz, a useful calculator, or a cool tool that makes them happy to share their info in return.
Next up is sustainability. And no, I'm not talking about the environment here. I'm talking about your team's sanity and your audience's attention span. Everybody is completely overwhelmed. The winning strategy is less but better. So instead of posting every single day, what if you created 2 unbelievably valuable posts a week? This approach actually lowers your unsubscribe rates, boosts your engagement, and builds way better relationships. And our last trend is a true masterclass in engagement. You've got to stop just copying and pasting the same content everywhere. Instead, tell one big connected story that actually moves across different platforms. Maybe you drop a teaser on Instagram, continue the story with a deep dive on YouTube, and then give the final exclusive insight in your newsletter. It creates a real reason for people to follow you everywhere you are.
And here's the kicker. Here's why this is so important. The data shows that customers who follow a story across multiple platforms like that are 5 times more likely to actually buy something. You're not just grabbing their attention for a second, you're pulling them into your world. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground, from AI and privacy to community and storytelling. So the really big question is, where on earth do you start? Let's make this something you can actually do. Let's bring it all back to that core idea from the beginning. Every single trend we talked about today boils down to one thing: building real relationships. It's not about the next hack or the next quick fix. The marketers who really, truly get this, that it's about connecting with people, not gaming a system, they are the ones who are going to absolutely dominate the future. And this is maybe the most important advice I can give you. Please, do not feel overwhelmed. You do not need to go out and do all 8 of these things tomorrow. Just pick one. Which one of these trends just now made you sit up and go, ooh, that's interesting? Which one feels like it would be a natural fit for your business right now? Start there. Just try that one thing, see what happens, and build from there. So I'll leave you with that question to think about. Out of all these huge shifts we've looked at, from AI that feels human to content built by your community, which one will be your first step into the future of marketing? The most important thing is just to start.